Hello from New York City, I'm Nadia. This is The Rundown, people and places on the run. It's another season. I'm so excited to run around and show you the places that I go to, the people that I interview on the run. Today is based on a fun fact, which is actually not that fun. There are about 5,100 sculptures, public artworks, and of those, less than 400 are of women. In New York alone, 150 public sculptures, 5 of them are of women. So I thought I would run to those 5 sculptures, starting here with Gertrude Stein in Bryant Park. Gertrude Stein, this one was done by Joe Davidson, a portrait that he did. She sat for it in Paris in the 1920s, and it was unveiled in 1992. So let's go. Gertrude Stein, the trailblazing author and arts patron. She's almost like a fore-founder of the modern Museum of Modern Art as we know it today. The proximity of her statue to the New York Public Library, the main branch, just shows you what an impact she had on literature. Her essays, her plays, her film scripts. She studied here but spent most of her life in France, came to New York, staged a production of 4 Saints in 3 acts with an all-black cast. He really was a trailblazing pioneer. Ah, it's so cold, my fingers are freezing. So over here there used to be a bust of Golda Meir, the first Israeli Prime Minister. It's not here, as you can see they're doing construction. Oh, there it is. You can't actually get to it. If we look inside, she's in the corner, but that's Golda Meir, so still 5. I was going to say revise that number to 4, but yeah, 5 out of 150, still not good. Statue of Liberty behind me. That is actually the biggest statue of a woman in New York, if you can call it that. Hi! But it's not a real woman. We're talking about historical women, movers, shakers, trailblazers. And there's more statues of liberty. Statues, the issue of who we honor, who we commemorate. It's an issue that's more relevant now than ever. Author Rebecca Solnit describes New York City as a manscape. The streets, buildings of importance, significant sites named after men. And she questions, what does it do to your psyche, to the culture, to women, 1/2 of the population, when you cannot see yourself represented, just like in movies, just like on TV, or in the world around you, when you're walking around and everything is named after men. Rebecca helped create this book with a map in it called City of Women, in which she reimagined what it would be like if the subway stops in New York were all dedicated to women who've done incredible things here. Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Madonna, Mary J. Blige, the Supreme Court justices, 3 of them lived in New York, came from New York. Running past Central Park. Central Park has about 29 statues of men. Even a statue of a dog, Balto, bless him. But it doesn't feature any women. So there is a petition to get 2 suffragettes, women who are important in the suffragette movement, to have statues dedicated to them inside Central Park. So that is ongoing. Takes a lot of money to put these statues up. So there is hope that these women will be honored in that way as well. Oh, and I didn't count Alice in Wonderland. There's a statue of her in Central Park, but she's not real. I'm talking about statues of women who've made a real, tangible, incredible, game-changing difference in the world. Oh, watch out for black eyes. Eleanor Roosevelt. Sorry, I'm from South Africa. We pronounce our Roosevelts like that. Eleanor Roosevelt, wife, widow of FDR, the longest serving First Lady. After her husband died, she lived in New York, across the park on the Upper East Side. Again, another woman who has done so much for humanity. She was part of the Women's Trade Union League, the American Red Cross, the Women's League of Voters. She did so much. She looked after her husband while he had polio, looked after the children, was actively involved in the Universal Declaration of Rights. The statue was unveiled in 1996 in the company of Hillary Clinton. Back then she was still the First Lady, not the would-be president, first female president of America, of the United States. Pensive, thoughtful looking Eleanor. Lovely. Then there's the plaque all covered in snow. Woo! Kipple! And there we have it, Joan of Arc, the very first statue in New York City to be erected of an actual woman. It was in 1915 that it was unveiled. She, of course, was burnt at the stake. At the age of 19, she'd already led France to so many victories. Was only canonized as a saint 500 years later. Done by Anna Vaughan Huntington, arts patron. And I'm not going to run, I'm going to actually walk down here because there is a lot of ice. There was some discussion about the value of having a statue of a French woman, French general, army general in New York City, but it was thought that it was supposed to signify relations between the US and France, her ally. What does it do to your imagination? It's important to have names of places and statues representing women, because then it allows other young girls to flourish, to imagine what they could be. The last statue of a woman, the fifth one out of the 5 that exist, is Harriet Tubman here on 122nd Street. It was the most recent to go up, if you will. Went up in 2008 by an artist called Alison Sayer, and it's 10 feet tall. Shows how Harriet, who used to smuggle people to freedom, used to pull up the roots as she walked on her journey. Incredible story. Known as Moses, she was a member of the Underground Railroad. She used to take people during the night, guided by the North Star, and she would take people from the south to the north towards freedom, from Maryland, her home state, towards Canada. And when this first was unveiled, there was some contention as to why she's facing south. She faces downwards instead of north towards freedom. It's because the artist said she would always return back to help people in the south get their freedom. Incredible story, Harriet Tubman. The last statue that has gone up, 2008. We need more. Don't you agree? If you agree with me, let me know. How many statues of women are there where you live? Do you want to see more? I agree, just like in film, just like in TV, we need to see more women, different ethnicities represented around us, and people get to see what is possible. So if you enjoyed this episode of The Rundown, please subscribe, like, do all of that fun stuff, and take in whatever is around you, because it's so good to appreciate it. I'm gonna go stay warm. Bye. So incredible.